Yo, 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 good morning. Grateful for another maggot-free day above the dirt, Jersey Shore. Check it out. So the last video was entitled Enlightenment Sucks. So if you haven't seen that one, maybe check that out before this one. But this one is kind of a continuation where I'm dealing with part of what I mentioned in that video, which was that spirituality is found in the mundane. So I think this is a really important point that I wanted to expound on a bit more. So when I talked about enlightenment and when we talk about it, rather than it being some kind of alternate state that we're trying to achieve, we need to realize we're already in an alternate state when we're pursuing and avoiding and seeking sense pleasures, and that enlightenment is actually letting go of the altered state we're already in. It's a state where we can be without attachment, without being entangled, and we can clear see, we can let things come and go, we can we can see how we can be in the situation but not of it, and controlled by it and completely identified with it. All right, so but to move on to what I want to talk about right now is that most people, in seeking that altered state, believe they need to avoid life's difficulties, believe that life's difficulties are in the way of achieving enlightenment or some higher spiritual state, when nothing could be further than the truth. The truth is that spirituality is about grounding ourselves in our humanness, in the human experience, and being with it. So there's two perspectives, or not different perspectives, but two perspectives that we need to take into consideration. One is, this doesn't just mean that dealing with life's difficulties is the training or the process we need to go through to become spiritual. Meaning that, a lot of people will take what I've been talking about right now and kind of just keep it in the context of, life's difficulties, the abrasiveness, the roughness of going through it is what polishes us and what creates a spiritual being. And while that's true to an extent, the piece that I think is more important and that people miss is the process itself is spiritual. You're already spiritual going through this, and that there's no experience that you can go through that is outside the realm of spirituality. Now, this doesn't, if you want to believe in other realms, that's great. It doesn't mean that you have to let go of that belief if that's what you have. What it means is you can't discount our worldly experience as being something outside of spirituality and that we go through to get back in. That's not the case. The desire to be spiritual means you're spiritual, right? The quest for spirituality is spirituality. So we have this idea of what we should be as spiritual beings, not realizing that we're spiritual beings already just because we want to become them. So it's the desire or the pursuit, the wanting to be spiritual that's actually the deepest spirituality. It's because it's coming from our core, from our natural state. It's not coming from an intellectual state or a worldly state that's saying, hey, I want to become spiritual because this sucks being in this material world. It actually realizes this material world is part of the spiritual world, and my place in it is to be a spiritual being and find all the joy and love that there is to find. And yes, that means you can't know that without knowing difficulty and pain. So I hope this was helpful. So remember, the mundane, what we write off as trivial inconvenience or frustration or tragedy, is part of this. It's not something to escape or avoid, and it's not just something to make us better people by turning us spiritual. This is all part of the nature of existence, which is completely spiritual. So I hope that was helpful. I'll end it there. Beautiful day today. Look at that sky and the beach and the water. Be grateful for another maggot-free day above the dirt, because that's all we got. Peace out.